Shalom, shalom. I want to begin this lesson by giving all praises, honor, and glory to our power, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakak, Wadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, who have taught us all this truth in the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. I'm Shaquat, and I'm back here with another lesson, all willing and satisfying to the hopeful elect. Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Barakatham. To you sincere Akyam wa Akwaf, and a sincere Shalom to you brothers out here pushing this truth down the highways and the byways and to the YouTube lessons, man. Shalom to you all. Lord willing, this will be edifying, right? So I'm on a walk and talk here, just finishing up my workout, So to you brothers and to you few sincere sisters out there, make sure you're working out, man. Whether you're walking, and even if you are walking, which is very good, I do it. I walk, I jog sometimes, do a lot of walking though. Even when you're doing it, you got to implement some type of strength training, some type of resistance training. That's not the point. That's not this lesson at all. But since I'm on the topic, you have to implement some type of resistance / strength training. Okay, you absolutely have to, so you could build that firm muscle. All right, muscle helps you live longer. It helps your body operate. All right, for it gives you more, more longevity. All right, it gives you more longevity. All right, so you have to work out. You have to do that. The scriptures say, all right, for bodily exercise profiteth little, but it still profits. All right, it only profits little in comparison to spiritual exercise, right? Because the spirit is way greater than the flesh, but it still profits, man. It profits a lot. Okay, I could say firsthand, I've seen brothers, seen people in the world. Firsthand, it profits, man. All right, so you got to work out. So that's whether you're doing some calisthenics, whether you're doing some weightlifting. I'm getting away from weightlifting for right now. I'm really been on my calisthenics tip, and training my boxing and enhancing my boxing, right, techniques. Wrestling, I'm already A1 for the day when I'm wrestling. So just train that stuff, and especially brothers, I'd say it'd be good to take up a combat sport, or a few. Learn how to wrestle a little bit if you don't know how. Wrestling's pretty easy, if you ask me. It's really innate. It's already in humans. Humans are already naturally wrestlers. They're natural at wrestling. So you learn a few little techniques, you're good. And I suggest you learn how to throw your hands too. And if you want, you learn how to, use your feet. I can only throw one kick. I can't throw no regular leg kick. But I can hit your ass with a spinning back kick to the body. I can hit your ass with an oblique kick. You know what I'm saying? That's about it. I ain't really good like that with the feet. But the point I'm making is, brothers, you should learn this, man, because you never know. You may have to use it one day. All right, you may have to use it in the times that we're coming into. Now, ultimately, the Lord's going to have protection over you. But it's better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it, not possess it. Take this as Psalm 144:1, where King David said, Yahweh teacheth my hands to war. All right. So there you go. So I suggest learning that. But anyway, work out, get your exercise in, make sure you're eating right. Don't always eat like shit. Now, I'm no hypocrite. I have my little cheat days. Them parasites be talking. You know what I mean? Now, I don't be drinking soda or nothing, but, I got my cheat days. Right, I probably on average have 1 to 2 cheat days a week. 1 to 2 on average. Sometimes I don't cheat at all in a week, but that's because I'm just maintaining. When you get to the point where you're maintaining, it makes that stuff a lot easier. All right, so you could do things like that, but you should still be eating your fruits. Your certain fruits. Do your research on that. Your veggies. Get some beet juice, pineapple juice. Right, make some apple cider vinegar tea. Help with that inflammation. All right, that's what causes you to be fat, is being inflamed, all right? And that's what causes you to get sick. And that's all due to parasites as well. You have good parasites and you have bad parasites. You got to purge out those bad parasites, all right? But anyway, take care of your health, all right? A lot of brothers, and I'm sure some sisters are struggling with that right now. So prioritize your health. This is the body that you have right now. We know we're going to get new bodies. Lord willing, we have that number. But at this point right now, this is the bodies that we have. So cherish it and take care of it, because this is still a creation of the Lord. This is still a creation of the Lord, man. So treat it well. Treat it with respect. All right? Respect yourself before you wreck yourself. No pun intended. So anyway, so to the point of the lesson, as you see, salvation through spaceships. It's not going to be too long. You know, I would suggest reading Ezekiel 1, you know, because I'm not going to break that down this lesson, but it's a beautiful breakdown. It goes to the angels, it goes to the chariots, but it doesn't really speak to salvation, how we're going to get saved by that, right? So I want to get a few scriptures concerning how we're going to be saved by way of ships, of spaceships, man. That's what a chariot is, man. They call it, what is it known as today? It's known as a UFO, right? A UAP. Forgive me too, it's gonna get really loud here. I'm about to walk through an intersection, so just bear with me here, right? So, you know, UAPs, UFOs, which, what is that? Unidentified flying objects or unidentified aerial phenomenon. But we know here that we that are in the truth, you know, in Great Millstone and the true affiliates, we know that these are IFOs and IAPs. What does that mean? We know that it's an identified flying object, all right? It's identifiable. You know, it's an identified aerial phenomenon. So we know what it is. We identified it through the Holy Scriptures, man. All right? Look, it don't stop. Anyway, it's lucky. We've identified it through the Holy Scriptures. All right? And what is it known as in the Holy Scriptures? There's many things. It's known as a chariot. First and foremost, the chariot of Israel. You know, we're going to grab that out of 2 Kings, maybe, chapter 2, with Elijah, not Ezekiel, Elijah. All right? What is it known as? What else is it known as? A whirlwind, a cloud, a flying roll. You know? It's known as various things, man. You know, these are the chariots of the Lord that are going to save the elect. All right? Yes, they are. Okay? But they're also within balance. It's going to be a curse for Esau, but that's not the point of the lesson today. But it's going to be a curse for Esau. You know, I may make a land back on this lesson and talk about a little bit how it's going to be a curse, which that goes into that in Zechariah, the 5th chapter, right? So anyway, without further ado, let's get into some salvation scriptures. Okay, so I want to go. You see, I'm already on Ezekiel 1. My brother broke this down yesterday. You know, he broke it down so well, man. I was like, damn, I ain't never broke it down like that. Well, I said, the Lord gave him a gift to break this one down right here, you know? Yeah, but anyway, what was I going to get? We'll start actually in the Apocrypha. Let's start in the Apocrypha, okay? We're going to go to Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 5 and 1. All right, and it reads, "Then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness before the face of such as have afflicted him." You know, and this reminds me of the book of Revelation 11, which we're going to touch upon. You know, the righteous man is talking about the elect men, the men of the Lord, and how we're standing in great boldness right about now. You know, we're out there on the highways and the byways chanting down Esau's kingdom, you know, to his face, on his soil, man. And we don't give a fuck. We're going to keep doing it until the Lord tells us to stop. All right? Until it's time to close the curtains. All right? So we're standing in great boldness in the face of those who have afflicted us. And the heathens have afflicted us. Even our own people have afflicted us. But who is it mainly talking about? It's talking about Esau, Edom. They're the main afflictors. All right? They're the main oppressors. All right? And it says, who made no account of his labors. Esau doesn't make account of our labors. All right, Jake is the former of all things. It says that twice in the book of Jeremiah. It says it 2 times in Jeremiah. Jacob is the former of all things, meaning we create everything through the spirit of power, Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. Right, Jake comes up with all these inventions like a light bulb, these certain philosophies, you know, like psychology, sociology, things like that. We, you know, inventing certain things, a clock, you know, all these things, but Esau takes the credit for it. He doesn't give credit to Jake. The Jakes who actually created it, he does away with them, and he takes credit for it like he did it. You know, that's what he do, man. Hell, he what does the book of Psalm chapter 49 say? He's slapping his name on all the lands. You know, he's everybody but himself. You know, Jake, the ancient Vikings were Jakes. Yeah, I'm on Netflix right now, and I'm watching this show called The Vikings. You know, with Ragnar and Lothbrok and all that shit. You know, Bjorn and shit like that. Brothers may have seen it, some sisters may have seen it, but I'm watching it right now on Netflix. And I came to the realization yesterday. I'm like in the 4th season right now. I came to the realization. I said, wait a goddamn minute. I ain't seen a motherfucking Jake in this show yet. I mean, at all. No, I haven't seen a Jake yet. Like, at all. At all. You know, this was over there in the East. You know, in England. You know, in Europe. I'm like, I haven't seen a Jake yet. I haven't seen a Jake yet. We were the Vikings, man. We were the ones over there ruling during the Dark Ages. All that stuff. We were we were all of that. And it's only Edomites. I said, this is crazy work. You know, this is crazy work. You know, you got Esau calling other Edomites pagans. Nigga, you a pagan yourself. He's like, it's just, when you think about it, it's like, what the fuck? You know? Like, what? But anyway, when they see it, the people, the elites, starting with the elites, but the citizens, the people too, they shall be troubled with terrible fear, and shall be amazed at the strangeness of his salvation. Whose salvation? The salvation of the elect. All right, Yahweh by Shemi Shai granting salvation to the elect. Lord willing, we be of their number. Right? And it says, so far beyond all that they look for. Because who respects for a bunch of people to be beamed up onto a UFO, a UAP? I'm just using worldly terms. Who expected that? Everybody thinks, because of what Esau puts in the movies and stuff, they think it's little green aliens from Mars. So who would expect, you know, a bunch of these so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans to be risen up into what is known as a spaceship? Who would just be expecting this? Nobody, right? That's like something beyond, you know, anybody's imagination. Like, who could think that? You know? Because everybody's imagination and their minds have been limited by this damn so-called white man. So nobody would think that, right? So that's why it's going to be so strange. They're going to be amazed at the strangeness of it. It's strange to them. All right, something that's strange, it just means out of the ordinary. All right, so it's not normal according to the standards of this world. All right, but it's normal to us because we understand the Heavenly Father through His only begotten Son, which is Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shai. It's not Yah, it's not Yahweh, it's not Yeshua, it's not Yahuwah, it's not Yahshua, it's not Jeshua, it's not Jesus, it's not Jehovah, it's not Yah, it's not none of those names. It's not Elohim. None of those names are right. It's Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shai. Bahashim just means in the name. Okay? So these are the strangeness of our salvation. Okay? So let's get a verse speaking about that. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 26. Trust in the Heavenly Father's protection. Verse 20. Come, my people, enter into thy chambers. Who are these people? The elect of the Israelites. And shut up, Slakin, shut thy doors about thee. Hide thyself, as it were, for a little moment, until the indignation be overpassed. All right, until the indignation be overpassed. So hide yourself for a moment until this indignation is overpassed. All right? So that's what the Lord was telling us here. So what is this talking about? Salvation to the elect, being risen up into those spaceships, man. All right? And to show you briefly how that's going to look, well, let's go here first, and then I'll show you how it's going to look. Then we'll jump to Revelation 15. So this is Revelation 11, just to back that. Chapter 11 and verse 12, right? Yeah, 12. Start 11. And after 3 days and a half, the Spirit of life from the Heavenly Father entered into them. And they stood upon their feet, and great fear fell upon them which saw them. All right, like it goes back to Ezekiel 37. All right? The dry bones getting breath blew into them. The Lord placing his spirit and waking up certain members of the Israelites. All right? Which is starting a mass awakening, but only the elect are going to stay true to the Heavenly Father. And it goes on and it says, and they heard a great voice, the elect, from heaven, saying unto them, who is this great voice? This is Yahushai's voice. This is a precept, direct precept to Isaiah 26 and 20, what we just read. Come up hither. All right? Come up to where? Well, it's going to tell you. And they ascended up to heaven in a cloud. So are we literally going to go into a fucking puffy cloud where rain falls out of? Is that literally going to happen? No, that's not what's going to happen, man. All right, that's not what's going to take place. So what is going to take place? All right, that cloud is a chariot, a spaceship, what people think of today as a UFO. All right, that's what this is talking about. Okay? So, and they ascended. What does it mean to ascend? To go up. What does it mean to descend? To go down. All right, Revelation 21 speaks about the descension. All right, but this is talking about the ascension, right? And it says, and they ascended up to heaven. It just means the skies, man. It's not talking about the spiritual place, in the fourth dimension, the spiritual realm. It's not talking about that. It's just talking about the sky. Heaven has multiple meanings. Words have multiple meanings, man. Whether you want to believe that, heed to that or not, words have different meanings and they have multiple meanings. So to continue on, it says, and they ascended up to heaven in a cloud, and their enemies beheld them. That's just like what it was saying in Wisdom of Solomon 5 and 2. They were amazed at the strangeness of our salvation, man. All right. So there you go. Now I want to get the point of what that's going to look like a little bit. Being on that chariot. All right, anyway, so Salakia. Here we go, Revelation chapter 15 and verse 2. And I saw, as it were, a sea of glass mingled with fire. And them that had gotten the victory over the beast. Who is the ones that are going to get the victory over the beast? The elect. And if you're a member of the elect, guess what? You've already won. You already won, man. All right. And it says, and over his image. Now, who is the beast? All right. Not to deviate from the lesson, but who is the beast? What beast is this talking about? Which beast out of the four? It's talking about the fourth beast, which is the Roman Empire. But this is the revived version of the fourth beast. All right. In the image, what is his image? What is the beast image? It's talking about his system. A lot of Israelites don't know this. They come against GMS, talk about we love to rape. I'm not going to go into that, but you know what they say about us. Talking about we like dealing with little girls. We like the RIP girls. Like, we never said that. You don't listen. You take things and then you misconstrue it. So guess what you're doing? You're bearing false witness. And not a brother in GMS has done no bullshit like that. We ain't did no bullshit like that. Matter of fact, it's funny because one of the niggas who was accusing us of that shit, guess where the fuck he's at? He's in jail over the same thing he was accusing us of. Bitch ass. And when we break down Deuteronomy 22, nobody is telling brothers to go out there and do this. Because if you fucking do this in this man's kingdom, you gotta be a dumbass. And I will not help your stupid ass. I'm sorry. Nobody is. And we couldn't help you if we wanted to. This ain't our queendom. It's like, this ain't our kingdom. This is Esau's queendom. All right? So even if we wanted to help you, we couldn't. That's stupid. All right? And on top of that, right? Even then, even if we were in our kingdom, it still would be an unwise thing to do. First of all, you better be rich. Second off, you disrespecting the Father. Don't do that. It's not right. That's why it's a punishment to it. So, and on top of that, you're playing Russian roulette if you do go out there and RAP a woman. All right? if you do go out there and do that to a woman, you playing Russian roulette. Why? Because she could be married or she could be engaged to be married. And you know what that means you did? You committed adultery. So you know what happened to you? You're dying. You're dying, nigga. You're going to be flying. So it's not wise to do something like that, okay? And with the little girl thing, Salakia for deviating, with the little girl thing, we never said to go deal with little girls. You know, Esau has this thing where he made an underage rule. So why would we go against that? Why? This is not our queendom. We're not gonna die if we go against if we don't go against. I mean, if we follow that law of not dealing with so-called underage girls. So why we do that? And it's funny, Esau makes that law and then he goes and breaks it. Fucking dumbass. But according to the scriptures, at the flower of her age, that's when she's a woman. What is the flower of her age? All right, when a woman or even a little boy, when do they begin to blossom? When they hit puberty. When does that happen? Typically around 12 years old. But you know, you got niggas, well, some girls getting their periods around 7 or 8. Well, nigga, that's not normal. Esau is plaguing everything. That's why that happens. That's not normal. You're supposed to you get it typically at the age of 12. Sometimes 13, sometimes 14. Sometimes it happens a few years later, but you get it typically around the age of 12. That's when you're ready. Same with boys. Boys get their hit puberty around the age of 12, typically. That's when you become a young man. You're not a fully grown man yet, but you're still a man. You're a young man at that point. It's like at the age of 12, a little girl, she's not a full grown woman yet, but she's still a woman, so she's ready. You know, she's a young woman. The flower of her age goes into that. You know, and if you even do a simple Google search on Eastern customs in the ancient Israel, it said they typically happen around the age of 12. So even Google telling your bozo ass that. Would you look at that? You know, would you look at that? Right? So yeah. So anyway, back to the point. His image is talking about his system. All right, this digital system he wants to set up where he wants to get everybody chipped up through gradualism. All right. Anyway, it says over the number of his name 666, which is the number of the man. All right, which is the number of man. All right, it's a carnal number. It's a number of carnality, and it also represents the beast, Esau, Edom. All right, represents him. All right, this wild man. All right, and it says, stand on the sea of glass, mingle, or having the harps of the Most High. Oh, well, yeah, this is it. That's it. That's it. But that's not the one I wanted. This is it though. That's the right one. But this is the one I wanted though. That goes with it, but this is the one I wanted. Hold on. Here's the one that I really wanted. It's the same thing, but it speaks about mingle with fire. All right, same thing, but there you go. Here you go. This is Revelation 8 and 7. All right, and it reads, the first angel sounded, and there followed hail and fire. No, this ain't it. Here it is. No, it's not. What the hell is going on? Oh, we did read that. Oh, forgive me. It was there. It was the first verse I read. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, man. Forgive me. I apologize, man. You know I'm tired. You know I just got done working out, bro. I apologize. Okay, so I already read that. Forgive me. So there you go. All right, you see a glass mingle fireman, and we're going to be inside of the chariot, and we're going to be standing over, on the ground, and it's going to be basically a clear flooring in the chariot, and we're going to be able to look down. So that's that sea of glass, that clear floor inside of the chariot. We're going to be able to look down, and actually see the lake of fire. We're going to actually be able to see the nuclear fire hitting America and people burning. If we're going to be in them new bodies, so we're going to be able to see all the details. All right. So yeah, man, that's what it. So there we go. That's a form. That's what that's kind of gonna look like, through salvation. When you go to Revelation 1:7, what does it say? Yahweh Shai is coming with. Well, we'll read it to you. Here we go. Revelation 1:7. Behold, he cometh, who? Yahweh Shai, with clouds, and every eye shall see him, and they also which pierced him, and all kindreds of the earth shall wail because of him. Even so, amen. All right, so, hey, man, the Lord coming with clouds. What are these clouds? They're chariots, man. They're the spaceships. All right, when you go to Matthew, all right, there's many of them, but we'll go to this one in Matthew 24. In verse 29, immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars shall fall from heaven, talking about the nukes, and the powers of the heavens shall be shaken, talking about the Edomites rulership, the elites, all right, their rulership, all right, through Babylon the Great, their chiefdom, all right, through Babylon the Great, America is going to be shaken. It's going to be basically thrown off. It's going to be thrown down. All right. They're going to be cast out of rulership. And it says, and then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man, Yahushua, in heaven. All right. That's Revelation 1:7, what we just read. And then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn, once again, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. All right. These are the chariots, these spaceships. All right. And it goes on to say, and he shall send his angels with the great sound of a trumpet, and they shall gather together his elect from the four winds, from one end of heaven to the other. All right, to the other, man. Okay? So there you have it, man. So there goes the elect getting gathered by these chariots. All right, there you go. And the angels in the chariots are one. The angel is alive. The chariot is alive in itself. Read Ezekiel. All that is located in Ezekiel 1. All right. So they're one. They're on one accord. They're on one tune. So there you go. All right. I also want to let's go to, we could slide to 2nd Ezra 13. I'm not going to read all of that, but just to jump to the point for salvation. 2nd Ezra 13. Jump to the point. In verse 12, afterward saw I the same man come down from the mountain. The mountain is talking about the chariot. And who's the man? It's talking about Yahweh Shai. All right, but he's not literally going to come off the chariot. Anyway, and it says, and call unto him another peaceable multitude. That's talk about calling the elect. That's what the two scriptures we read from Isaiah 26 and Revelation 11. When he told the elect, come up hither. That's what this is talking about. And it says, and there came much people unto him, whereof some were glad, some were sorry, some of them were bound, and others some brought of them that were offered. Then was I sick through great fear, and I awaked and said, and then, it goes on. So that's talking about more salvation of the elect. The elect receiving salvation by way of spaceships. Okay, another one that just came to mind is in maybe in 2nd Thessalonians 1. Let's see. No, it's not this. So maybe it's in 1st Thessalonians there. Yeah, this is in 1st Thessalonians. So this is 1st Thessalonians chapter 4 and 13. But I would not have you to be ignorant, brethren, concerning them which are asleep, that ye sorrow not, even as others which have no hope. For if we believe that Yahushua died and rose again, even so them also which sleep in Yahushua will the Most High bring with him. That's talking about the martyrs. All right, Revelation speaks about those martyrs. All right, and it speaks about also in Revelation 20, those who get beheaded for not, taking the chip. being a martyr for the truth, dying in the truth. And as we know, according to the book of Revelation, our works carry over. Spiritual works are more powerful. They're more greater than carnal works. So when you die, your carnal works don't go over to the next side with you. It's very scripture that speak on that. But when you die, your spiritual works, that carries over after death. All right, so you're good. If you die in the faith, you're good, man. That means you're of the elect. All right. So it says, for if we believe, so there we go. So like I read that. And it says, for this we say unto you by the word of the Lord, all right, that we which are alive and remain unto the coming of the Lord shall not prevent them which are asleep. All right. So we're all going to get that same penny, whether you died in the Lord or whether you're still alive and remain, because the scriptures say there are going to be those who don't even perish on this side, who don't see death on this side. So whether you're alive and remain, all right, or you died in the Lord, you're still going to receive that salvation, man, at the end of the day, right? Still going to receive salvation. So anyway, to continue on, it says, for the Lord himself shall descend from heaven with the shout, all right, with the voice of the archangel, talking about Michael Ya'ala, or Michael, and it says, and with the trump of the Most High, and the dead in Hamashiach shall rise first. So the dead are going to be risen first. They're going to ascend to heaven. What are they going to be ascended to? It's going to tell you. Then we, which are alive and remain, so those who didn't see death on this side, shall be caught up together with them in the clouds. Now, once again, is it talking about the cloud where it's raining? All right, where it rains and shoots lightning out and all that? No, it's talking about a chariot. It's talking about a so-called UFO. It's talking about a spaceship. All right. So let's read that again. Then we which are alive and remain shall be caught up together with them in the clouds to meet Yahushai. All right. That Lord there is Yahushai in the air. And so shall we ever be with the Lord Yahushai. Wherefore comfort one another with these words, because these words are comfort. All right, when you go to the book of when you go to the Apocrypha, it speaks about how this gospel is a comforting thing. All right, this is a comforting thing, this gospel, right? So there you go. There you go, man. So that's salvation by way of spaceships, man. That's salvation by way of spaceships. All right. So anyway, I do hope and pray that this is edifying to you all. If I miss any, potent scriptures, brothers, please put it down below in the comment section. All right. But until next time, anyway, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai by Hashem HaKakodash. I want to give double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who have taught us all this truth in the spirit and power of Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai. And until next time, Abba Babal, Kwame Asherella, Kodol Abadium, Lababal Hagadol, Yahweh Mahal, Wa Habathum. And until next time,